Have you ever stared at that weird, narrow strip of dirt next to your house? Or maybe your tiny concrete balcony and just thrown your hands up thinking, what could I possibly do with this? Well, if that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to dig into the amazing book, Garden Up, and show you how just changing your perspective, literally looking up, can turn those forgotten spaces into something you'll absolutely love. Yeah, we've all been there, right? You've got these huge dreams of a gorgeous, lush garden, and then reality hits. You're faced with a space that just feels completely, totally unworkable. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's that 2-foot wide patch of dirt that runs along the side of the house. The spot that's so skinny it feels like not even a weed would want to grow there, let alone a beautiful garden. Or hey, maybe you're dealing with a concrete slab they call a balcony. You feel like you've hit the jackpot if you can just squeeze a single chair out there. So the whole idea of a garden just feels, well, impossible. And of course, there are those necessary evils, the clunky air conditioner, the ugly utility meters. They have to be there, but let's be real, they're an eyesore, and it feels like you're just stuck with them. But what if I told you you're not? Okay, so here's the big secret. The solution to all these problems is actually kind of simple and totally brilliant. Stop trying to garden out and start gardening up. And no, this isn't just about hanging a pot or two. This is a total design shift that turns these so-called wasted areas into vibrant, living, and totally functional oases. So, how does this actually work? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and start with one of the most common headaches, those super narrow garden beds that feel impossible to plant. Okay, this is such a cool idea from the book. You need to start thinking of things like arbors and trellises, not just as plant hangers, but as actual architectural tools. Like the slide says, they create outdoor rooms. An arbor can act just like a doorway, framing a beautiful view and giving you the sense of moving from one space to another, even if it's just a few feet. Right, so an arbor is fantastic, but let's get back to that infamous 2-foot wide bed. The classic advice is always to layer plants from back to front, right? But you can't do that if you don't really have a front. You just end up cramming everything in, and it looks like a total mess. And this is the golden rule you need to remember. It's this simple but powerful concept. Layer up, not out. So instead of thinking in horizontal layers, you start thinking vertically. You put your tallest layer up top, vines on a trellis or some tall, thin shrubs. Then you add a middle layer of airy, kind of see-through plants to create a sense of depth. And you finish it all off with a bottom layer of plants that hug the ground. And here is the proof that it works. I mean, look at this pathway. That space is not very wide at all, but because they layered everything up, it feels so much deeper, so much more lush and inviting than it actually is. You can see the vines on the fence, the taller plants, and then everything else filling in below. This is how you take a space everyone ignores and turn it into a main feature. Okay, so let's build on that and see how this whole gardening up idea can solve other common problems, from hiding ugly stuff to making city living way, way greener. I love this phrase the authors use, garden secrets. It's the perfect name for all those things we kind of wish weren't there. You know, the noisy AC unit, the recycling bins, they're part of life, but they definitely don't have to be the star of the show. And if you're a city dweller, listen up, because this goes way beyond just looking pretty. A vertical garden on a balcony or fire escape is a functional powerhouse. It literally acts as a living filter for city dust. The plants can actually help muffle street noise, and by shading a wall, it can cool the air before it even comes through your window. It's your own personal micro-ecosystem. And hey, if you're feeling really ambitious, you can create actual living art. This is a living wall made from succulents, and as you can see, the different colors and textures are used just like paint to create this incredible mosaic. It turns a boring old wall into a jaw-dropping, low-maintenance masterpiece. Now we get to my favorite part, using all this amazing thinking for food. Because this vertical revolution isn't just for pretty flowers, it's also for your dinner plate. This is such a huge mental block for people, isn't it? We automatically associate growing food with these huge, sprawling gardens, lots of land. But what if you could grow an entire salad bar in the same amount of space a bookshelf takes up? Well, check this out. This is what's possible. This is an indoor edible wall, and it is just incredible. You've got everything from fresh herbs and greens to tomatoes and peppers, all growing right there in one compact unit. This is a complete game changer, especially for anyone living in an apartment or a condo. Now, the key is to choose the right plants. You got to be smart about it. You want to look for compact or bush varieties that were literally bred for small spaces. So yeah, lettuce and herbs, total no-brainers. But you can also grow things like bush pickle cucumbers that won't take over your entire balcony, or even something like the black pearl pepper that looks absolutely stunning with its dark leaves and also gives you edible fruit. It's a win-win.
Okay, wow, we have covered a ton of ground, from design theory to growing your own dinner. So the big question is, how do you actually get started? Let's break it down into a super simple plan.
So here it is, your 4-step action plan. Step 1, find that one spot in your yard or on your balcony that's been driving you crazy. Step 2, decide on your strategy. Are you going to layer up, hide something ugly, or grow your own food? Step 3, pick the right plants for the job. And finally, step 4, if you want the nitty-gritty step-by-step instructions for some amazing DIY projects, the full book has everything you need. So that just leaves one last question for you. Right now, as you're thinking about your own home, your own balcony, your own yard, what's that one awkward, overlooked, wasted space that you're now seeing in a whole new light? Which one are you going to transform first?